Hello, and welcome to Preventing Workplace Violence. Today we will discuss workplace violence as a concept, identify workers who may be at a higher risk, and point out ways to identify potentially violent individuals before they become violent. Workplace violence is any act or threat of physical violence, harassment, intimidation, or other disruptive behavior that occurs at the work site. It ranges from threats and verbal abuse to physical assault and even homicide. According to the Bureau of Labor Statistics Census of Fatal Occupational Injuries, 11% of the fatal workplace injuries that occurred in the United States in 2010 were homicides. There are four broad types of workplace violence. First are violent acts by criminals with no other connection to the workplace, whose only intent is to commit a robbery or other crime. Next is violence directed at employees by customers. Third is violence between coworkers. And lastly, violence resulting from an employee's personal relationships outside work brought into the workplace. Nearly 2 million American workers report having been victims of workplace violence each year, with many more cases going unreported. Fortunately, workplace violence is a decreasing trend, but it still exists and often has long-term effects on its victims. Workplace violence can affect employees, clients, customers, and visitors. No one is immune from the effects of workplace violence. Certain jobs may expose workers to an increased risk of violence. Workers in sales, protective services, and related occupations are at an elevated level of risk. In addition, anyone working alone or in isolated areas has an increased risk of being a victim. The time of day and location of work, such as working late at night or in areas with high crime rates, can increase the risk of violence. Working in a safe area, however, does not mean you are immune. Delivery drivers, healthcare professionals, public service workers, customer service agents, law enforcement personnel, and anyone who handles money should be aware of their elevated exposure. Individuals who may become violent at some point in the future often exhibit warning signs in the months leading up to a violent act. Any of the signs listed here may simply be a symptom of a foul mood or possibly a personal quirk, and should not be automatically designated as a potential sign of violence. However, a number of these symptoms exhibited at once may indicate a deeper issue. If you witness symptoms of impending violent behavior and have reason to believe a coworker may become violent, it's important you report your suspicions to your supervisor. Coworkers, patrons, or other individuals who exhibit any of the following behaviors are at an increased risk of turning to violence. If you are dealing with an individual who is shouting, using abusive language, is visibly upset, or otherwise showing outward signs of anger, it is important to alert a coworker or supervisor so an emergency action plan can be activated. If you feel unsafe in any way, do not hesitate to call the police. By keeping workplace violence prevention top of mind, we can prevent injuries and keep all employees safe.